I mean, what a life, what a legacy. I know his history outside of the ring is kind of controversial, and he's like tabloid gold. Hulk Hogan has been tabloid gold with this, sex tapes and the cheating, and then of course he had the reality show where his family was on and his daughter was on, and there was lawsuits and video, all kinds of. I didn't really pay much attention to that.
Of course you didn't. Of course you didn't pay attention to Gawker, Michael Rapaport.
And I'm going to tell you what we're not going to do when Hulk Hogan passes away. We're not going to disrespect the Hulkster. That's what we're not going to do. Is we're not going to be disrespecting Hulk Hogan, the Hulkster. I don't care if he had some controversy outside of the ring. I don't care if he endorsed Donald Trump. We're talking about one of the most original characters in American popular culture history, whether you know wrestling or you're a fan of wrestling or not.
What an absolute doofus this guy is.
Hogan is heard on the tape, which was recorded in 2006, talking about his daughter Brooke, who he accused of sleeping with an African American. I mean, I am a racist to a point. But then when it comes to nice people and whatever, then says, I mean, I'd rather, if she was going to I'd rather have her marry an 8-foot tall worth $100 million, like a basketball player. Guess we're all a little racist.
How does Rapaport excuse this simply because the man passed? This is who he was. This is his legacy.
Phone dialogue, yeah. That means my best friend. You know that God gave you this vibe and this energy that you and I are going to live forever, bro. I just hope you don't come back with a couple, I don't want to say it, what is that? Gives eyes, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Here he was using the N-word yet again on a phone call with his son Nick. Not only was he a bigot.
You and Hulk were once good friends.
Yeah.
What's the likelihood of that ever being repaired?
Never. He's the one that ratted me to Vince when I tried to unionize. I found that out under federal deposition when Vince was put under sworn, and he didn't hesitate at all. I told my lawyer the story, and in deposition you could ask about anything. And so I wanted to know who ratted me in the locker room, because there were no agents, no one from the office was in there when I did it. So it had to be one of the boys. And when my attorney said, Mr. McMahon, has there ever been a union in wrestling? And Vince said, no. He said, has anyone ever tried to? And Vince said, well, I think Jesse Ventura spouted his mouth off about it once before. And my attorney said, did you hear Mr. Ventura? No. Well, then how do you know he did? With no hesitation, Vince went, Hulk Hogan told me. And I didn't show any emotion, but I almost tipped over in the chair because he was my friend.
He was a union buster. For Rapaport, doesn't matter.
We are talking about a guy who created something out of his imagination that captured the world's attention. Think about you as a kid. Talk about a real-life superhero. When the Hulkster was out there oiled up with his goatee and his hair and those 18-inch pythons, brother. Pure joy, elation, total original. This is an original character that he created. Hulk Hogan, the Hulkster. We're not going to disrespect the Hulkster, brother.
Out of his imagination? My guy Billy Graham is right there. Hogan even admitted stealing from Graham. For entertainers, it no doubt stings to take someone under your wing and then watch them totally overshadow you. Usage of the word influence, there's probably underselling it quite a bit, but Hogan's attitude, verbiage, even the facial hair he sported were taken from Graham's superstar persona, wrote WhatCulture.com. The two would clash during the wrestling steroid trial that was in full swing. Hogan, nonetheless, stole the dude's entire gimmick.
And like I said, I don't care about him endorsing Trump. I don't care about the stuff that was controversial. We're not going to be disrespecting the man with the 18-inch pythons, brother. We're not going to be disrespecting the Hulkster for the joy that he gave. Hulk Hogan is pop culture Americana, and he will be missed. A one-of-a-kind, one-of-one. Salute the Hulkster. May his memory be a blessing. His memory truly will be a blessing because of the joy that he gave people. The joy that Hulk Hogan gave people and what he represents to fun, to wrestling, and to sports, and to just, like I said, popular culture. He was beyond wrestling, beyond sports. He was a pop culture icon, the great Hulk Hogan.
So am I surprised that Michael Rapaport is going to bat for Hulk Hogan? No. Zero. Literally 0.0. Here's why. As I have gone over a few times, if you haven't seen it, on the Rick Strom Show, I interviewed founding member of A Tribe Called Quest, Jarobi White. He and I talked about how Michael Rapaport is an opportunist. He's a fraud. He took advantage of the entire situation, putting out the Tribe documentary and using what was a beef between Phife Dawg, R.I.P., and Q-Tip that he captured on screen that lasted for about 4 days. Maybe a week, and he played it up in order for him to garner traction instead of telling the story of Tribe. Jarobi even said, how many times did he show Tip making a beat and using the sample? That was once for Can I Kick It? I asked Jarobi, hey, if you and Michael Rapaport, if you saw him on the streets of New York City, and he offered to get a cup of coffee or a drink or a bite with you, would you? And he basically said no. Depends on the day. The fact that I love these dudes so much, and I've developed a relationship with Jarobi, and hearing his words, and in a way, just how broken it made him to see their story get hijacked by someone they entrusted to tell it, is troubling. And because it hurts him, it hurts me. And then there's Michael Rapaport going and speaking for the Zionist entity, which is deeply racist. Deeply. But this is the same dude who will be all up in your timelines, making an ass out of himself, because all he has right now is potentially, I'm not saying it's been proven, potentially the money from the state of Israel, and that's all he's got. Birds of a feather, man. I'm really sorry that racism is not where you say, enough is enough. And dude never really apologized for it. All he said was, effing N-words and referring to people that his daughter Brooke dates. And if she's going to date somebody, let it be a basketball playing N-word, a rich N-word. That audio that we played when him and his son, Nick, were communicating, when Nick was in prison, it's indefensible, man. A union buster. Makes me wonder, is Michael Rapaport part of that as well? Because he didn't bat an eye. And he's an actor. So I don't know, man. Maybe he's just playing it up once again. Maybe he's playing it in our faces, or this is who he really is. I tend to think it's the latter.